How about it, folks? We are live on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets, number one form for Alabama football news, notes, information, and content in my own words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. So excited to have every last one of you tuning into the network channel on today. We got a lot to dive into, a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. As always, bringing this to you from Tuscaloosa, streaming this through YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, give a thumbs up, a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, and turn all of those notifications on so that you can have the best in alerts, commentary, and coverage on your Crimson Tide, along with YouTube. Shouts out to all my Facebook people out there as we're coming to Facebook, streaming to Facebook as well. And speaking of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, you can purchase individual copies. Be sure to purchase individual copies of the magazine and have those sent to your door. The link will be found in the description. But it's Wednesday, and we start things off by recognizing, honoring, paying tribute to the better man in the room, the maestro in the production studio, that being one John Ivory. John, what's going on, man? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. What's up, Steven? What's up to the chat? Make sure y'all share the show. We got a great show for y'all tonight. Get the chat going. Get the conversation going. Let's get lit.
Let's go ahead and get this conversation popping. Absolutely. And the best way to do this is calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in and let your voice be heard on the show. That is 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from you. It is going to be awesome later on in the show to hear from esteemed quarterback developer Neville Durant, who is working with one Paul Tyson here at the University of Alabama. Durant out of Seattle, Washington. But we're going to start things off here with a couple of updates. And the first one, how about Alabama's coaching staff getting paid? Contracts approved, pay raises approved. This comes from Alabama's Board of Trustees on campus. Announcement was made today as 11, assistant coaches on Coach Saban's staff got paid, including one Steve Sarkisian, who is now tied for being the highest paid assistant coach in college football. Sark will pocket $2.5 million over the next 3 years. That would be a huge bump up from his $1.65 million he was making last season. So $2.5 million for Sarkisian. You're looking at $725,000 for Jeff Banks. Charles Huff, the running backs coach, is looking at a cool $550,000. Wide receivers coach Holman Wiggins looking at $475,000. Pete Golding, Alabama defensive coordinator, he got bumped up from $1.2 million to $1.225 million here. Charles Kelly, the safeties coach, looking at $825,000 pay grade there. Freddie Roach, defensive line coach, coming from Ole Miss to Alabama, looking at a cool $700,000. Carl Scott, the defensive backs coach, got $550,000. And outside linebackers coach Sal Sunseri, $675,000. Now, when you look at the sports performance staff of David Ballou and Dr. Matt Ray, the Board of Trustees did not forget the dynamo, the dynamic duo right there. So for David Ballou, the director of sports performance, he will pocket $500,000 this year, $500,000. In terms of Dr. Ray, the director of performance science, $450,000. But those numbers will take a step forward as those two look to be huge in the upcoming season and 4 years to come there. So that's just the pay grade there for the coaches. Another update here. This comes from Brett McMurphy of Stadium. I know a lot of you have been asking about the college football playoff and how will Bill Hancock, the executive director of the CFP, will go about doing this in terms of even amid the coronavirus pandemic. So the update came out today from Brett McMurphy of Stadium. As far as the outlook for the CFP, the outlook for the college football playoff for 2020, here's how it's going to go. On December 20th, the final rankings for the CFP need to be in. Final rankings for CFP need to be in by December 20th. On January 1st of 2021, you've got the semifinal matchups, which will be the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, January 1st, 2021, semifinal matchups. The national championship game will be on January 11th at Miami Gardens, Florida. So that's how things are shaping up there in terms of the CFP. This comes from Brett McMurphy of Stadium. But we get into now topic number one here on the show here in terms of the conversation. And the SEC front office in Birmingham on Wednesday, they dropped the announcement on releasing the preseason football schedule for this year. So preseason football schedule is out here for the SEC. And what this is, fall camp, it's back. Fall camp will start on August 17th. So about in the next 2 weeks, fall camp will start on August 17th for all 14 schools in the SEC. Now, originally, fall camp was supposed to start on August 7th, but because of the global pandemic of the coronavirus and the conference trying to push the schedule back some and trying to have a season, the start of the season will be September 26th. So fall camp was pushed back for the SEC to August 17th. So what this means here in terms of the SEC, with fall camp starting on August 17th here, so that's the first day of fall camp. So with camp starting that day, from August 17th to the first game of the season, all SEC programs will be allowed 25 practices. 25 practices, 20 hours a week per practice time. So 20 hours a week during that practice period, but 25 practices allotted by the NCAA. There will be a 5-day acclimation period. Now, what do I mean by that? The 5-day period, the SEC, the teams will have 2 days in helmets only, and then 2 days in shells, which will be kind of the jersey and the shirt, the jersey and the helmet. So 2 days in shells, 2 days in just helmets only, and then 1 day in full pads. So that's just the 5-day acclimation period. The players will get a minimum of 2 days off, each week, during the practice, during the fall camp. And that 2 days off will go up until the first week of the first week of the college football season. So you've got, the practice, fall camp starts August 17th. So from the 17th to the first game of the season, 25 practices, 20 hours a week, per practice time. You got the 5-day acclimation period, 2 days in helmets, 2 days in shells, 1 day being fully in pads. And on top of that, you got the 2 days minimum that student athletes will be provided those off days in terms of their respective schools and the programs. Now, what does this mean? When you look at Alabama football, this is simple. With the Crimson Tide looking to start camp on August 17th, the walkthroughs for Alabama will go until now August 16th. So prior to this all happening here, this phase of the NCAA preseason practice plan, where you have the 20 countable hours of athletic activities, the 8 hours of strength training, conditioning training with Blue and Ray, the 6 hours of walkthroughs that include a football on the field, and then the 6 hours of meetings that originally was set for July 24th to August 6th, because fall camp originally set for August 7th. Now, with the SEC, dropping the preseason schedule and pushing things back some, Alabama will continue with walkthroughs until August 16th. So what this does is it gets you more time with Blue and Ray, more time in the weight room, more time in strength training, more time in conditioning, more time in flexibility, more time in injury prevention, more time in getting those numbers up where Blue and Ray are concerned, for the Crimson Tide inside the athletic facility. So that's that. And then this also provides Alabama with more time, and like I said, in those walkthroughs, more time in having those opportunities on the field to work with Coach Saban in those 7-on-7, 11-on-11 type drills, offense versus defense type things, getting the coaching where understanding this is why we have to be aggressive playing football. This is why, we tackle like this at Alabama. We attack the ball like this at Alabama. We take the angle away like this at Alabama. So different offensive and defensive things in those walkthroughs. Alabama has more time with those things with the preseason, with the walkthroughs being stretched out there more. And then last but not least, this gives Coach Saban more time for team meetings. More time for team meetings, more time for film study, more time for Zoom calls to, after you do the walkthroughs, you have an opportunity to continue putting plays on the screen, putting plays on the board, initiating new systems, new formations inside of the offense to kind of get, the players a feeling for, okay, we've got this system right here. We're putting in this new play. What is each respective player's responsibility? What is their job in that particular play, in that particular scheme? So that's what that does, for Alabama. It lengthens out the walkthroughs. It lengthens out more time for Blue and Ray. It lengthens out the team meetings, player meetings, and one-on-one meetings. But when you also look at just in terms of the players that are going to really benefit from fall camp coming up. And we all know the main guys. We all know the head honchos. We all know the marquee, big-time playmakers, explosive guys on both sides of the football. But this fall camp is going to actually give us a chance to see some unsung heroes, right? Some guys that will look to turn some heads. Some guys that will look to turn the corner. Some guys that will look to maybe shock and surprise some people and really be a part of that rotation of players to help these starters and these marquee guys push the program to a national championship. So as we look at these unsung heroes here, these guys that you got to keep your eye on, first and foremost, Fidarian Mathis on the defensive line. Keep your eyes on him this season. Fi Mathis, a redshirt junior, if I'm not mistaken, out of Louisiana, at 6'4", 312 pounds, a guy that's played a lot of football. He's played a lot of football. He's got a lot of experience at defensive tackle or defensive end. He's kind of a tweener, can play in both spots, but a guy that has great leverage, great strength, great ability, good core strength, good footwork. He's got power hands, can strike inside, create negative plays in the backfield on running backs, also affect the quarterback as well. So going back to what I mentioned before, Alabama back to that deep rotation on the defensive line that it had in the 2015 and 2016 season. So keep your eyes there on Fidarian Mathis. Another guy to watch for this season is Alakaho. We know what he can do on special teams. He blows stuff up. He blocks punts. He makes tackles. He's a beast. He's an animal in terms of punt coverage and kickoff coverage. But he's looking to turn that into, being a contributor, a marquee contributor at the linebacker position. He's going to get some opportunities in the nickel defense. He will. I think he will start in dime. He will be the starting dime. He'll be the starting linebacker in the dime package. So keep your eyes also on Alakaho. He's going from being a special teams terror to now he's looking to create his name on the defensive side of the football. So that's the second guy. Third guy I would keep my eyes on is Cameron Latu at the tight end position. And as I've stated this on Friday's show last week, he has been strong in the preseason practice program. He's come on strong. He's got the added weight that he needs to be successful. He's been catching everything thrown his way, running the right routes, making the right plays, stepping up in the right moments. Yes, he was recruited in 2018 as an outside linebacker, but the majority of his film coming from Salt Lake City, Utah, came with him at tight end. And if Latu wins this job, I stated this before, Steve Sarkisian going to open up the NFL playbook. He's got a lot of things to, move around, got a lot of flexibility here if Cameron Latu was to win the tight end job. So that's him there. The next guy down the line here, John Mechie. John Mechie, wide receiver, somebody to look out for here in this fall camp, just due to you know what you're getting in Devontae Smith. You know what you're getting from Jalen Waddle. Holman Wiggins, you got to get a third guy to pop here. I think that third guy will be John Mechie, and I can honestly see him starting at that X position, at the top of the route, not the X position, the Z position, at the bottom of the route, at that Z position here in the upcoming season. So John Mechie, the fourth guy. And then last but not least here, DeMarco Hellams. keep your eyes on DeMarco Hellams in the upcoming season, especially in fall camp. He will start at that dime linebacker position, that sixth DB on the field, taking over for the departed Xavier McKinney. But along with that, he's got a chance to push for a starting role at one of these two safety spots. I don't think he beats out Jordan Battle, but there's a strong opportunity for Hellams to maybe beat out a Daniel Wright here. Hellams at 6'2", between 202 and 205 pounds. He's cut the weight down. He's still got the size to play in the box, but has got the footwork there to play free. So Fidarian Mathis, Alakaho, Cameron Latu, John Mechie, and DeMarco Hellams, the main guys to keep your eye on. But in terms of the freshmen, here are some of the young guns you got to watch this year, Bama fans, in fall camp. So the young guns to keep your eye on: Timothy Smith, Big Tim Smith on the defensive line. Watch him. I don't think Alabama will be able to keep him off the field at 6'4", 330 pounds. Watch Tim Smith there. Javon Baker at wide receiver. Once again, another guy I don't think Alabama's going to be able to keep off the field. He's got the size. He's got good speed. He's got hands. He will find his way on the field, at wide receiver, getting some early playing time. The third guy, running back Jace McClellan, he is impressing in the preseason practice program. I remember I was told a while back by close, credible source here inside the program that Coach Saban is not even trying to redshirt McClellan. He sees the possibility of him being in that Josh Jacobs type of role. So McClellan, number 3, and then 4 and 5, the two guys everybody's been talking about this whole time. Will Anderson and Drew Sanders, both at the outside linebacker position, really pushing, bringing that competition. So those just some guys, some young guns to keep your eyes on the true freshmen here when you look at fall camp. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. Upon our return, we go to your phone calls, your tweets, your chats, your concerns, your thoughts on Tide football right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the title